Hello viewers and listeners, welcome to the program He Truly Comes. What happened at Pentecost? We are referring to the Pentecost experience that is recorded in the book of Acts chapter 2. What happened at Pentecost? I'm reading from verse 1 to 12. And when the day of Pentecost was fully come, they were all with one accord in one place. And suddenly there came a sound from heaven as of a rushing mighty wind, and it filled all the house where they were sitting. And there appeared unto them cloven tongues as of fire, and it sat upon each of them, and they were all filled with the Holy Ghost, and began to speak with other tongues as the Spirit gave them utterance. They were dwelling at Jerusalem, Jews, devout men out of every nation under heaven. Now when this was noised abroad, the multitude came together and were confounded, because that every man heard them speak in his own language. And they were all amazed and marveled, saying one to another, Behold, are not all these which speak Galileans? How hear we every man in our own tongue wherein we were born? Parthians and Medes and Elamites and the dwellers in Mesopotamia and in Judaea and Cappadocia and in Pontus and Asia, Phrygia and Pamphylia in Egypt and the parts of Libya about Cyrene, and the strangers of Rome, Jews and proselytes, Cretes and Arabians. We do hear them speak in our tongues the wonderful works of God. And they were all amazed and were in doubt, saying one to another, What meaneth this? This is what happened on the day of Pentecost. Pentecost being the same as the Feast of Weeks, which came 50 days after the Feast of First Fruits. So when this day was come on the Hebrew, on the Jewish calendar, 50 days after the resurrection of Jesus, the Bible is saying the apostles were gathered in one place in Jerusalem. Then there came a mighty sound as of a rushing wind out of heaven, and it filled the house where they were gathered. And they fell upon their heads something like cloven tongues of fire, and they were filled with the Holy Ghost. Then they began speaking in other languages, in other tongues. But when this happened, the Bible is saying in Jerusalem, there were gathered Jews, devout men from every nation under heaven. Why were they gathered in Jerusalem? Deuteronomy 16 verse 16. Deuteronomy 16 verse 16. It reads, Deuteronomy 16 verse 16. 3 times in a year shall all thy males appear before the Lord thy God in the place which ye shall choose, in the feast of unleavened bread, in the feast of weeks, in the feast of tabernacles, and they shall not appear before the Lord empty. So these devout Jews were just doing what Jehovah had told them to do. Deuteronomy 16:16, it is saying, of the Jewish calendar, there were 3 main feasts which were supposed to be attended by every Jew male. There were 3 feasts. The feast of Passover, which came on the 14th day of the first month. Then the feast of weeks, which is Pentecost. This came 50 days after the feast of first fruits. And in this year of Acts 2, it came 50 days after the resurrection of Jesus. Saka munhu wese wechirume kwa Juda aifanira kuatenda mutambo we Pentecost kana kuti mutambo we mavhiki. That's why the Bible is saying they were gathered in Jerusalem. Now the Bible took time explaining or narrating the countries or the nations where these devout Jews were coming from. The nations ataurwa neBible, they represent Europe, the far north part of Asia, the far east Asia, the North African states, every nation under heaven of the then known world yenguva iyoyo, hanzi kwaive nemaJudha ivabvako vauya ku Pentecost yegore ra Acts chapter 2. Why were they in the diaspora? You know, during the Greek Empire, even before that, we have Majews akatorwa na Nebuchadnezzar vachenswa ku Babylon. We know the Hellenistic period, paitonga ma Greeks. So we had there were a lot of Jews venga dispersed in the diaspora. Even kuno ku North Africa, kwanga kwane Majews ariko. Saka Bible rikuti these Jews vanga vaenda ku Jerusalem kuno attenda mutambo wakarairwa na Jehovah. That's why the Bible is saying they were Jews, devout men. Why are they being referred to as being devout? Because vari kutedzera zvataurwa naMwari. So on this day mu Jerusalem mama kazara varume vabva kuma nations kwavanga vari dispersed ku diaspora vadzoka kumusha kuti vapemberere mutambo wePentecost. What happened at Pentecost? Join us again in the next episode of this presentation on this program, It Truly Comes.